ပါတယ်လို့ပြောပြရတော့
This is the rhythm of change. This is the sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just us down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness. And let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise
Accountability
together.
starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Good morning. Happy Friday. TGI Friday, everybody.
Yes.
It's been a long week. From Tuesday to today. You know, right? Election day was Tuesday. And here we are Friday. And I can tell you that I am exhausted. I am thoroughly exhausted. And I wish I could drink. I would drink heavily if I could. I'd have a big bottle of Jameson right next to me. And back in the day, I would have Jameson and I would have a cigar. And I would just sit and laugh at all of this. But now I have to do it sober.
That's frightening.
I know doing it sober is frightening. It's scary.
Yeah.
I need to be inebriated. Anyway, it's not too much longer now, right?
Depends on who's telling the story.
It did well. No, you know.
Because I called it. It's done.
Yeah, you know. Anyway.
No, Trump. Look. I'm not mad at him. Fight to the end.
Oh, listen.
Fight to the very end.
That's what I said yesterday. I said, look, if it were me and I could afford the lawyers, I'd have them all out there.
He can't afford the lawyers. He's petitioning for everybody to give him money so that he can get lawyers.
Well, there you go. Hey, listen. He had a guy put up a GoFundMe page and raise over $20 million for his wall, right? So I'm sure that his loyal, citizens or whatever you want to call them will be happy to put up some money for him. So, hey, listen, fight to the end. If you believe in it, fight for it. Go, Donald Trump, go.
Then you have to take into account where people want him to go.
Well, there are millions of people that want him to go back to the Oval Office.
There are some people that like him to go back to that rock that he crawled from.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. You know. So I got into a little spat on my Facebook page this morning. I think it was in a post that you posted, Diane.
Oh God.
Right?
That
No, not that. No. Yeah, I stopped you for. So you
As I eat my fattening ASS pancakes, yum.
So you posted, I have won and lost elections. I feel Trump's pain of defeat. However, I would never accuse the opponent. Your glasses are showing your green screen. Oh, you know what? Isn't that cool though? He's telling me my glasses are showing because my glasses are green. I got the green frames. So it's showing my green screen. So what happens when I do that? Anyway, all right. Thank you, Vincent.
Read it again. Stay focused.
No. So it says, I have won and lost elections. This is Diane L. Murray Clemens saying this. Former councilwoman in Hillside. I feel Trump's pain of defeat. However, I would never accuse the opponent of cheating without proof. To which Eric Dawson came on and replied, we, in all caps, all know there's cheating on both sides. But like Denzel Washington said, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Yeah. Right? So now I posted that up. And some woman, and I got to tell you, my patience is short for people who throw in their 2 cents and their penny short.
My patience is short for just dumb people.
Right? So
my patience is short for people who want to give you a piece of their mind, knowing they ain't got much to spare.
Yeah, man. So this woman who shall remain nameless, unless you go on Diana Murray Clemens' page and you can see who she is. She says, Eric Dawson, do you know that for sure? Meaning, do I know that there's cheating on both sides? She said, do you know that for sure? Or are you assuming there is? To which I reply, insider in politics, I know. I said, and deep down, we all know. But we'd rather live in the matrix. So we all know that there's cheating. It's just like you know your family member who's a drug dealer. Right? You know your family member who's a gang member. You know your family member who's a lawbreaker. But we kind of like bury our head like Emu from that commercial, right? We bury our head in the sand because we don't want to know. So now she comes back, and I figured she'd be done with me because I said I'm an insider. So she goes, I'm not an insider. And so at that point, I'm going, well, then be quiet. Yeah, I'm like, duh. So if I say to you, I'm an insider and thus, blah, 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 and then you come back and say, and I'm not an insider, I'm like, well, okay, then the conversation's over, right?
Thank you for proving my point. Have a great day.
But, do you remember in school? See, because sometimes I can cut real deep, so don't mess with me. But remember in school when the teacher used to have you put the dunce hat on and put the piece of gum on your nose? We can sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner.
Get somewhere to sit down.
So anyway, this person who still shall remain nameless says, I'm not an insider like you are. So she acknowledges the difference. And I don't know that for sure. However, I am not a fan of making assumptions about others' actions since I don't want that done to me. And I agree. I don't make assumptions about people unless you know. But I said I know, right? And so she says, I am that person who needs receipts. So then I said to her, I said, then do some research.
Get your receipt.
Go get your receipts.
Whoa, hold up.
She done cussed out my church member.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know this person, Diane?
As I'm going back to look at the feed.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh. So wait a minute. So then I say, Diane, I said, there are plenty who have gone to jail. So I said, go do the research. You want receipts? Go do the research. There are plenty of people who've gone to jail, and you'll see that there's cheating on both sides. And I'm not talking Democrat or Republican, right? I said on both sides. To which she replies, Eric Dawson, I am not an uninformed voter, and I do my research when I need to do research. You made this statement, not me. Please don't try to get all, quote, you were stupid, end quote, on me. Was it that transparent? Was it that transparent?
I probably shouldn't be laughing because that's going to be mad at me.
But wasn't that transparent? So anyway, says, I was just giving my opinion. And I appreciate you gave your opinion. But then when I told you, as an insider, my opinion carried a little more weight, right? And then you verified that by saying, oh, well, you're an insider, I'm not. So then again, that should have just been the end of the discussion. But you say, it may happen on both sides, but it doesn't mean every politician participates in the foolery, right? Weren't you running for office? Were you planning on cheating? Probably not. That's why I'm not a fan of blanket statements. And then I reply, I said, who said every politician? I said there's cheating on both sides. See, so I never said every politician. I said there's just cheating on both sides. That's all I said. You understand what I'm saying? So people try to read into things. And no, I didn't plan on cheating. And I can tell you a bunch of politicians who I know aren't cheaters.
That's right.
But there's cheating on both sides. Not all people, but there are cheaters. That's all I'm saying.
On this side, you know who the cheaters are. And there's cheaters that are still in office, go to court, get away with it. Sometimes their husbands take the fall for them. But yet they're still cheating. So
I would like to, I don't have an olive branch, but I'd like to offer one. Right? Maybe there was just a misunderstanding. They say sometimes when you write stuff, the inflection and all that kind of stuff, and so I'll extend the olive branch.
Well, okay. Well, you want to be, diplomatic about it, and I understand it and appreciate it. But the part that gets me is that she said, well, I don't like to make assumptions unless I know. And what kills me about that statement is that she makes the assumption that you don't know. And you just explained to her that, whoa, honey, I'm an insider.
She made the assumption that I'm lying because I said I know. Mm-hmm. And so there's no assumption about it, right? I said I know.
Right.
So I said I'm an insider. I said I know. Now I have receipts. I got receipts.
and this is with elections, and with this election in particular, people already come to the table with a preconceived notion of what they think politics is. And then as you're being told by different sides what to look for, what to expect, nobody goes to do their due diligence to see what is honest and true.
Yeah.
So I think, like this particular situation, the majority of people assume the best, expect the best, and deal with the worst when it's confronted to them. They don't, because they are genuinely good people. They don't think that people will cross them until things happen. So they're always going through life. Oh, life is good. Not saying that they don't know people are bad, but they're going through life like, I don't really run into these people. These are not the people I engage with. Not knowing that the very person you work with or roll over next to has these preconceived notions on how to get over on situations. And people don't recognize that stuff because they say, I don't do that.
Diane, you know what though? They know. But this is what I'm saying. They know because they wake up every morning itching from the flea bites. My grandmother said, you lie down. Yes.
No.
They wake up scratching every morning. Yes, they know.
But no, people who are in denial, they wake up with the flea bites, they're scratching, but yet they say, it must have been when I went over there.
Yeah, somebody else, right? Wasn't my situation, wasn't my boo, wasn't my cousin, wasn't my whatever, it was somebody else. Yeah, no. Anyway.
I'm telling you, that's what people do.
Anyway.
But, we all learn, and I think it's more that people are open to listen and learn instead of being in a position of always having to prove other people wrong.
Right.
Because if you're in the position that you always want to prove somebody wrong, you're just wasting your time and your energy. Because you're not going to change somebody's minds or thought process. I mean, people that are open, you're always able to, give them another way to look at things and think about things, but they have to be open to do that.
Sure.
So for the most part, stop trying to convince these people on these social media pages because they come to the table with nothing.
Yeah, and you just get locked up and trapped up in that rabbit hole of jackassery that just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So, hey, listen, drop the jewels of knowledge on her. If she accepts it, fine, she's growing and learning as a human being. If not, have a nice day, baby. It's like 2 tears in a bucket.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm extending the olive branch. So
I appreciate it. I don't want to be kicked off my pew.
But see, Diane,
yeah.
I kill him softly, right? Don't I? I don't.
There's always somebody else that has to pick up the remains.
Yeah, I don't curse and yell and scream, but I tell you, only when I drive. I only scream and yell and curse when I drive.
Oh God.
Road rage is back. Listen, road rage for me is back in full effect. I am approaching senior citizen age.
Senior citizens approaching people should be banned from driving, and you should have to have a second passenger in your car. What do they call it? Carpool? No, what was it? What was that what's that lane on the highway?
High occupancy vehicle.
Yes, the HOV lane. Vincent, don't nobody know what that. HOV.
Wait a minute. Do you remember when they had it and people had like dummies, or they had like they had full size like stuffed animals in the passenger seat? No, seriously, they did. In order to try to in order to try to fool the state troopers to believe that they had passengers with, right? And they would put them in the car with them and then drive and they dress them up. Hats and sunglasses and the whole bit.
That's much energy for me.
Well, you know what? See, people like that, and Diane, you and I talked about this. Vincent, you probably down by you have, roads where like traffic merges, like for an exit, right? And there's a long line. Well, for us up here, it's exit 145 on the Parkway. That damn exit 145 on the Parkway. So what people do is, as you're exiting, right? So there's a long line because all the traffic kind of converges right there. There are people who drive in the next lane over and get right up to the exit and cut over as though they didn't realize that they were gonna get off. Like, oops, can I get over? And for me, see, because I drive a hoopty, I don't care. I got limited liability insurance, and I'm ready to rock. So, You pull up next to me. We're gonna play chicken. Cause another scratch on my hoopty, it just adds more character. That's all it does. That's all it does. So bring it.
And it already has a lot of character.
Got a lot of character. Come on.
You know what? I found this morning that, those postcards, I don't know if they drop them off down there in the Camden area. They drop it everybody's cars, stick in your windows, and they say, we buy junk cars. I said, Eric, look, they'll buy your car. You might even be.
That was an insult. I didn't take it as an insult at first, but then it kind of marinated with me for a little while. I said, wait a minute. But you know what? I had a Jeep, and I actually called them. Can I tell you what a ripoff they are? So here's what they do. And I'm sure you guys have gotten it, right? Call for your junk your car, and they say give you up to whatever the amount of money is. What they really want on your car is the catalytic converter.
And what is that?
That's the thing attached to the muffler to make it a little less quieter and push out less emission.
Right. That's the value of the car. So if you ever wondered why, like, if you say my car is a junk car, right? Doesn't run, and they tell you doesn't matter if it runs or not, right? We'll buy it from you because they want the catalytic converter. So now here is the trick. And so part of it is a trick and part of it isn't. You just have to know, and they don't tell you, and that's why I think that they're slimy. So you can have the original catalytic converter that came with the car, or you can have a repaired one. The repaired one's not worth anything. It is the original catalytic converter that they want that is of value and will get you the most amount of money for the car. So what they do is when they'll ask you if you want to buy a car, you want to sell a car, you call them and you say yes. They'll meet you. They'll send a tow truck driver over. And as they're towing your car, as they're hooking your car up to the truck, they're asking you to sign these documents, right? So all of this stuff is happening very quickly for you. Right? You're trying to get rid of your car. You're kind of happy that it's getting towed away and somebody's going to give you some money. Somebody's shoving something in front of your face, right? And all you think is that you're going to get some money. $200, $300, whatever it is. Then, once the car is hooked up, they send another person there who starts to look under the car. Now, you're wondering, why are you looking under the car? Why aren't you just driving off and give me my money? Then they take a picture of the converter and they send it off to the junkyard. And the junkyard says whether it's the original or not. Now, if it's not, and most likely if you have an older car, it's not. They've done repairs on your muffler and everything, right? Then they tell you that they're only going to give you $100 for your car. Or whatever, right? At this point, you're furious because you thought you were going to get $300 or something. And maybe if you go put it up on Let It Go or one of those sites, you can get more.
God. This story is so long.
No, but it's important for people to hear, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you want your car back. In real small writing on the thing that you signed,
can't get it back.
They tell you have to pay the fee for towing. Because they hooked your car up already. So now that fee is $200. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I know it's a long story, but it's important because so now you're jammed up because now you owe $200 to get your car back.
That they were going to give you $100.
That they were going to give you that they were going to give you $300 for in the beginning.
So,
because you didn't realize that they wanted the catalytic converter, but only the valuable one, which came with the original car.
So this is something that needs to go to the government for a law to be put in place to block stuff like that. Because it sounds like it's on the lines of not lemon law, But
No, there's nothing. No, Diane, there's nothing illegal that they're doing. But I'm just saying that it's shady.
Well,
So
it's not. I didn't. Well, a lot of things the laws put in place is not because it's illegal. It's because it's shady that they're trying to stop the shadiness of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is actually the law is working for the people now.
Well, maybe that's something that you need to discuss with Consumer Affairs that they need to add in regards to that awareness. Maybe it needs to be a bigger fine print. Maybe that has to be a separate sign-off page so people know what they're getting into.
Yeah, but that is the deal, and so they're making a buttload of money. And understand this, and they target low-income communities because you got a lot of junk cars, right?
Well, not even that, they need the money.
Yeah, but you need the money, but you got to hoop the.
To read the contract before signing it.
That's absolutely right.
So that's predatory.
It is predatory behavior. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I just want everybody, when you get that, just beware. Just know and ask them. Say, you want my catalytic converter? That's what you should ask them when they call. You do you want my car? Or do you want my catalytic converter?
Because that is too much like the right thing to do. And if you were looking to rip people off, you don't want to give them the right thing to do. Come on. That's
wow. The GOP is pushing back, and they said that Trump's false election claims, they will not stand behind him with that.
Well, you know why, Diane? Because they listen.
Cut off his speech because they said they're not going to broadcast live.
Diane, do you know what chum is?
That's the crap and stuff that come out of something.
No, go ahead, Vincent.
Tell of the dead fish that they throw in there so other fish can feed off of.
There you go. So the GOP sees the chum in the water, and they know the sharks are coming, and they know that Trump doesn't have a life jacket. So all right. So they're gonna. So right now, the GOP folks, and the Republican Party, who felt like, Donald Trump was twisting their arms for the last 3.5 years, right? About to break it off.
They finally out of this volatile relationship.
Yeah, oh yeah. See, they're getting out of that abusive relationship now.
Come true on the Eric Dawson show.
Say what?
Once again, another prediction has come true on the Eric Dawson show. Last week, I said after the election, those scared Republicans, once they find out that Trump cannot win, will start developing a backbone.
Had a backbone, right? They would have been pushing back earlier. So they don't have a backbone.
They're just hiding the Vaseline now.
Oh.
That isn't a sexist remark.
Oh.
No, that's not sexist at all.
Wow.
Actually. So Toomey, the Republican from Pennsylvania who was retiring in 2 years, says that Trump's remarks were very hard to watch and that his allegations are just not substantiated. Republican Adam Kinzinger from Illinois said on Twitter, all allegations of fraud must be taken to the court. Stop spreading debunked misinformation.
Wait a minute. Stop for a second. Wait a minute. Vincent, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do dead people vote in Camden County?
Remember what we talked about earlier, that they're cheating on both sides?
Mm-hmm.
When I ran for freeholder, we counted 300 people that voted against me, and they were dead.
That's my point. So they're not baseless allegations. He just can't prove them. He's got to be able to prove it. So we all know. Like, I didn't really have to ask Vincent. I didn't know the 300 people, but I can tell you that in every single county, in every state in the union, dead people are voting.
Dead people have been voting since the Civil War. Some of them are still registered voters.
They are. Come on now. Listen.
1802.
And look.
Voting.
And here's the thing, right? I know people who have moved out of New Jersey but kept their residence in New Jersey and still vote in New Jersey. I know people who used to live from, say move from Newark to West Orange, right? But they still vote in Newark. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when Donald Trump makes these allegations and says, hey, everybody who voted in Philly doesn't live in Philly, Oh, I'm sure he's correct about that. He just can't prove it. But you know it. He just can't prove it. So I just want people to stop saying, "Oh, the gall." You know, like, oh my God, he's saying that. Of course he's saying it because he knows. I'm sure he knows some people. Listen, I'm sure that Donald Trump knows some dead people who voted for him.
One of the reasons that he knows is because that's what got him elected.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure he knows dead people that voted for him. So, like, get over it, people. You know, yes, he's making the claims, but things are following the course that they should follow. And yes, if he can't prove it, then it doesn't count.
Exactly. So in his speech, Trump basically accused Democrats of trying to steal the election with illegal votes and repeated a lie that he had an earlier lead in some states before it even got wheedled, in quotes, wheedled away in secret. I've already decisively won several critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio. Here, it was sad to hear him name off the state. Trump claims early on in his speech, apparently ignoring Biden's flipping of Michigan and Wisconsin and lead in Nevada and Arizona. It was at that point that MSNBC interrupted the speech with anchor Brian Williams coming on to talk about the president's claims that the network's chief legal correspondent, Ari Melber, literally, they cut it off because they was like, we can't keep promoting this. But see, this is the problem with media. They use what happens to get the clicks and to get the sponsorship and to make money.
Right.
If they had tamed what they were doing the entire 4 years with taming what they chose to air and not air collectively, we wouldn't be in this position because he would only be delegated back to Twitter. If they stopped broadcasting all this nonsensical crap, especially during COVID, especially during that, they would have been able to tame some of the people's reactions. However, they also use their source of media and broadcasting the information to bite him in the butt.
Well, let's look at it. Fox, MSNBC, CNN, and all the network news have been using Donald Trump, his gas, his BS, his bolstering, and his lying as a way of driving income. Trump has been big news for 5.5 years. And now that it's over, they're now looking for the next person. So it's over. He had his 15 minutes of fame, and those who he thought loved him are now showing their true colors. Goodbye, Donald. It's over. It's time that we dump the Trump, drag that little orange sucker out of the White House, and let's get back to rebuilding.
So 20 minutes ago, the election results update for Biden is on the verge of winning presidency with the leads in Pennsylvania and Georgia. Right now in Pennsylvania, he has a lead over Trump by 6,826 votes, and that's only a difference of 0.1% so far. So we'll see. But it's definitely over.
Well, you got what? You got Nevada. You got Nevada. You got Georgia. You got Pennsylvania, and you've got there's one more.
Nevada and Arizona.
Nevada. I'm sorry, Nevada, Arizona. Well, the ones that they didn't right, and Donald Trump's going to win. Was it North Carolina? Right.
Yeah.
But you got Nevada, Pennsylvania, and what was the other one we just said? Georgia. Right.
Georgia.
And so any of them, him winning any of them, puts him over 270. Well, one puts him at 270. The other puts him at 280. The other one puts him at 284.
Here's the key: for Trump to have a Hail Mary pass, he has to win Pennsylvania. And every day, Biden is getting an average of 68% of the votes. In fact, the last tally that came in, Biden had 82%. So it's over. It's over. Now, it's going to be close, and right now is the definitive answer, according to Pennsylvania state laws, is the election close enough for him to demand a recount?
Right.
And even in that, it's over.
But you want to understand something big. So, and we can continue to talk about Trump. Like I said, Trump is easy. Like I could literally sit with my eyes closed, both hands tied behind my back, half my brain tied behind my back, and I could talk about Trump for the next hour and a half, right?
Please.
But but Mitch McConnell is on the verge of being the most powerful Republican in the country.
Well,
I'm gonna say that to you again.
Go ahead.
On the verge of being the most powerful Republican in the country. Now, you had Obama, and everybody talked about what Obama couldn't accomplish because Mitch McConnell set his mind to not allowing Obama to accomplish it. So you got that same Mitch McConnell. So remember when I was saying to you that the Oval Office, the White House, everybody's focused on that. We need to be focused on down ballot races. And I asked the question yesterday. I said, okay, let's make the assumption he gets to 270. What are we now prepared to do? Right?
Okay.
So you ready? So
Here,
go ahead.
here's the thing with Mitch McConnell. Right now, there's a close race, which would, if it proves to be victorious, the Democrats and the Republicans will both have 50 seats in the Senate. According to the Constitution, anything with a 50-50, guess who is the deciding?
Oh, sure, the vice president. But
President.
yeah, sure, we got that. But no, I
So now you got Kamala controlling, taming, and nullifying Mitch McConnell's butt.
So in the Senate races, which hinge on Georgia, which they are looking at 2 Senate races that are going to have runoffs in January. We had a Senate Democrat, John Ossoff, who tries to unseat Senator David Perdue, and Democratic Raphael Warnock, who faces against Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler. So those 2 are going to be the critical candidates that we need to watch down here. The law for Georgia says that if neither candidate wins by more than 50%, so that means they need 50 plus 1 or 50.5, whatever they consider more than 50%. The top 2 go-getters, regardless of the party, have to compete in a runoff in January 5th. So this is going to go on. Also, there are still some provisional and military ballots. That provisional votes go in. Then the mail-in, all the election machine votes go in first, or walk-in votes. Then go your mail-in ballots. Then go your provisional ballots. And in between comes your military ballots, because the military ballots are considered mail-in ballots, so they come in second when they start to count. So they still have those ballots, provisional ballots being people who thought in certain states that they could just walk in and vote at the machine, where in certain states they said no, it's going to be all mail-in. So when you went in and you dropped off your mail-in ballot, or you didn't have a ballot at all, they gave you a provisional. So that's always on the back end of being counted. And then you got stuff coming in from overseas, right? Because you have military people that are in different locations. So yeah.
Right. Well, let's look at that. Provisional ballots, in fact, in this election, if they came in with their ballot and said that they wanted to vote or by machine, they had to surrender their ballot. If they didn't, they got the provisional, which basically means that they have to check all of the ballots first to see that you did not vote, and then your vote will be counted. And as far as the military ballots, they have had a trend for the last 36 years of being Republican.
Did I not just see?
I think so.
So then why'd you repeat it?
I think so.
But I think so. Well. Oh boy. I just.
Why didn't you just do what I do? Are you a parrot, Vincent?
No, I just.
What?
So protests in Portland are setting City Hall on fire.
Oh, well, can we talk about Oregon for a second?
Sure, go to Oregon.
So they legalized shrooms. They decriminalized shrooms, meth, heroin. I was wondering why my daughter wanted to move to Oregon.
Everything's available at CVS.
Yeah.
Just pull up to the drive-thru. You get your little text message that says your medication is ready.
It's ready.
Now, to see the headline is sensational, though, right? It says all of those things now you can go and do, but that's not really. I mean, it's small quantities, right? And they're really trying to address the addict,
Well,
right? They didn't know.
it's possible that it works because think about it. When they started giving out syringes, free syringes to stop the spread of AIDS and HIV, it cut into that.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So they're trying to address the addict. So they're saying, look, instead of criminalizing it, instead of locking them up, instead of ruining their lives, we want to be compassionate, right? We want to get them help. We want to get them on the road to recovery. What do you say, Vince?
And make a profit.
Well, yes. Well, that goes without saying. Hey, why would they do any? Listen, if you think that they do anything out of the goodness of their heart, but look, I think that they should do that. I think that they, folks who have a drug problem don't need other problems, right? They need help. And, and I think that when we talk about the government, we say, well, what's the government's role? It is to be a bridge, right? And so to the extent that it could be a bridge to recovery and repair for those people, I think that it's cool. I just wish that the government would be a bridge, to the road of recovery and repair to everybody else.
Well, people were saying that back in the 90s with the Bill Clinton crime bill, because reports said that 70% of the people being incarcerated was because of drug use or drug sales.
Yeah.
So they said, no, they don't need to be incarcerated. They need help.
Yeah.
And they need recovery. So what he did was, of that, what was it, $40 billion in that crime bill, they said, okay, well, we need to get at least 70% for recovery. What happened to get it passed was they said, no, we'll give them 30% for recovery and 70% goes to the states for locking people up.
Jody, I'm going to need you to call in.
Oh, here we go.
Please, he's taking us down this road again with this crime. Look, Vincent, we ain't going to agree on this crime bill. You might as well stop pushing that dope because we ain't buying it. We ain't buying it. So what's happening in the rest of Portland, Oregon, is that people are protesting, and they protested all the way down to the city commissioner's house and started throwing burning flares and painted balloons outside his house and breaking the potted plants. They done kicked over his plants.
Yeah, see, I think that's, look, I think when you kick over an innocent plant, you've gone too far. I think when you've done that, that plant is done.
With the plants, you need to be locked up.
Yeah, that plant did nothing to you.
So they get a call that they over there destroyed his house. While they over there trying to disperse the people over there, another group of them that marched over to City Hall and set City Hall on fire.
Wow.
This is priceless.
So let me wait. But this is in Oregon, right?
This is Portland.
So these are white people.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not getting locked up or shot, are they?
No.
See, they're not rioting, are they? They're protesting.
3 people were arrested in relation to violent protests. 3 people.
Yeah.
But they setting public property on fire.
And kicking over plants.
Scaring the
Damn you!
Scaring the dogs.
Ah, gosh.
These people, they got too much time on their hands. You see, this is COVID. So you get these people back to work, they ain't gonna have all this time to protest. They really won't.
And they got to get up in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah. So they're out there acting crazy. They detained 2 people in Pennsylvania for active threat. People were out there. Of course, you might have seen on TV. People, these people are crazy. These white folks is outside the Board of Elections while they inside counting the ballots on the floor praying, bending over, going. This is the praying that they stop counting the vote. Like, what is wrong with you people? So they had to arrest 2 people that were over there.
Well, you know, listen. Defeat is. You remember what was it? The Wide World of Sports, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. I used to love. I loved the opening of that show. I used to. Oh.
They had that poor guy who was doing a ski jump come tumbling down.
No. That wasn't the one I loved. I loved the one who tried to get on the horse, right? And they hit the spring thing, and then they didn't catapult up, and they went right into the horse, and then you saw all of the dust, like just the powder, just the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Well, when you look at these people, that is the agony of defeat. It is the agony of defeat, you know, and they'll get over it.
Yes.
They'll get over it.
Well, America defeated because now coronavirus is hitting us more. More state officials are announcing restrictions. The top today in the United States tops 100,000 new COVID-19 infections for a second day in a row. So in New York, the governor has stated that he's going to start doing random checks of out-of-state people coming into the city to ask them a variety of questions, including, are you self-quarantining? Why are you coming into the city? Where have you been? Type questions.
But Diane, you know what? So here's the interesting thing about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to sports news today, and they're talking about the NFL and all of the players that are contracting COVID-19, all of the fines that have been given out. Gruden and his crew have gotten fined over and over again, and you know, and I think now they have been penalized to the point where they miss a pick now, right, in the draft. But the games are still going behind themselves. So the biggest game on earth, the biggest sports thing on earth, as they tout it to be, is thumbing its nose, right, at COVID-19. And we air it on television. So do you understand what I'm getting at? So one part of our society says, hey, we need to shut things down. You got small business owner over there who's struggling. Go, we need to shut it down. But we got these guys who are worth millions of dollars crying because they need to play, because they need to pay their, they need to pay their bills on their multi-million-dollar house, and they need to get another Rolls Royce, and they need to,
And she needs to get her boobs lifted. I'm not mad. It's their job. They spend their money the way they want to, but they have.
But how do you shut down? But how do you shut down the little guy over there? But the multi-billion-dollar did you know the NFL's a not-for-profit?
That's right.
Yeah. So how do you allow this billion-dollar not-for-profit to continue to run and thumb its nose at you? And here's the sick part about it. While you guys are all struggling because you're not getting money anymore, and you're waiting for this next relief package, and all these things are going on, you're turning your television on and watching it.
People, what did I tell you? They don't see things and connect it directly to their personal situation if it does not actually affect them. Because football is entertainment to them, and they see it, and they can turn the TV on and off. They don't understand exactly what you just said of how they're feeding their pockets while they're at home starving.
Yes. And not only are they feeding their pockets, but these people, these players, right, are carriers or potential carriers of COVID-19.
Well, every NFL game is like a Donald Trump party. It's a super spreader event. and yeah, they're professional athletes, and maybe their bodies can handle it. But then you look at the degrees of separation. Their children who go, their wives who go and socialize, shop and market. I mean, it carries. It continues to grow.
This is true, but I think you talked about it before, Eric. You and I had I don't know who I had a conversation with. The basketball players were in bubbles, and only the people who were players, the coaches, of course, the direct employees that had to be interacting with them were in this bubble living. And then after a certain period of time, when their families came, they self-isolated the families.
Right.
Before they integrated them with the rest of the people. I don't understand why in football they did not consider to do the similar things, because I don't know how they thought these men were going to stay away from other men or women in such a long period of time, or saying I'm going to go home and self-isolate, or I'm going to do this. They're going to, or not be around other family members who are out and about, and then coming to their house and they're all gathering together. They didn't. I think it was irresponsible of them not to consider that, and irresponsible of not only the owners but the governors of the states not to impose some type of regulation, restrictions, or suggestions on how they should be moving forward, knowing that the basketball players just did it and they succeeded at doing it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they did look at the bubble situation for the NFL. What they found, and the big difference between the NFL and the NBA, is that there's no facility large enough to hold it. And then you're looking at teams playing simultaneously. And so the amount of facilities that it would take to actually house them. And then looking at transportation back and forth. So it was just the metrics of it and the logistics of it was impossible. So they said, well, we're going to put everybody on the honor system. Wear your mask, and everybody isolate themselves through the entire 16 weeks of the NFL. Which
they should have cut the season down and should have did things. So this is what I'm going to say. It's ignorance. Because if somebody already did it before you and it worked, why would you try to recreate the wheel instead of duplicating what they just did? You're wasting time. You're causing people's lives.
Well,
it's not. And people should be pushing back, but like you said, people are sitting home watching the football game.
The duplication, and in terms of what you said, and it goes with what Eric said, is that when they start cutting down games, they start cutting down revenue.
Well, you can't have everything. If you did, you ain't gonna have no revenue nowhere.
Ain't that the truth?
So in Connecticut, they're saying effective today that they're placing new limits on restaurants and religious ceremonies and event spaces. The public health officials stated that gatherings are a major driving force behind COVID-19. So Governor Ned Lamont also recommended earlier this week that residents stay home between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. to limit socializing. Rhode Island Governor also inflicted restrictions, stay-at-home advisories between 10 p.m. 5 a.m. on the weekends, and beginning tonight, Friday and Saturday, to 10:30 p.m. Also, restaurants effective. They say all restaurants, gyms, recreational facilities must close at 10 p.m. on weekends and 10:30. So I think that's kind of what is going to be relating throughout the other states. People are going to start to have to restrict the hours. I think that is going to be some way to do it, but just restricting the hours cuts into people's income. So it has to be another way besides the restriction, because, like you said, you can't legislate stupid, and people are really getting into this lackadaisical mode of, it's not me, I didn't get sick, and what they're doing is they're just not wearing a mask, or they're coming out. Or I was in the bank yesterday, and this older guy had his mask on his chin, and I walked in, and I'm looking at the people that was working in, and they got their mask on. I'm like, so nobody's not going to say anything? Like, we just going to act like this is not happening? You got the signs on the doors, don't come in unless you got a mask on. The second door, mask required, and he's standing in here. Like, so people have to be, I think, again, with education and COVID, etiquette, because they don't have it, and they don't know how to say it in a nice way, or how to say it without getting into a fight with customers, or so I think there should be a campaign on that, a total campaign on the mask wearing and prevention, and telling people what the consequences are going to be. Tell them, look, more people will lose jobs in these areas. More businesses will shut down if you can't abide by these regulations.
Well, and I agree. Well, let's look at New Jersey. The regulations is that they're saying only close members in your household can join you for Thanksgiving dinner. Yet you can have 40 people to now, because before a funeral had to be on Zoom. Now you can have 40 people at a funeral. So my wife is having a funeral for our turkey and inviting all of the family.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well,
but the point being is that people are going to have to go with the soft restrictions, because everybody's going to start complaining now if they start now shutting down again. And what every governor is doing and contemplating and fighting against is having to shut down. What we have with this issue of the honor system is that we deal with too many vehicles, and all these restrictions and everything. Only 60% are actually following it. We still run into people who don't wear masks.
Yeah.
Or keep socially distant.
So here is the highlight, and it's 11 o'clock. Here you go. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook removed Steve Banner's video calling for violence against Dr. Fauci. So Stephen Banner's podcast on Thursday evening was taken down after former White House chief strategist called for the beheading of Dr. Anthony Fauci. Is that not crazy?
Yeah, providing Steve Bannon got a deal for that money he stole for the Trump wall. And now, Steve Bannon, actually, the bulk of his money is doing those propaganda Nazi movies that a lot of Americans seem to believe. And Steve Bannon did architect Trump's election based on white supremacy. I think that, maybe some people should, never mind, I'm not going to say that. But I can't believe other people's lies who are just telling the truth.
So the spokesman from YouTube, Alex Joseph, said that, in quotes, we will continue to be vigilant as we enforce our policies in the post-election period.
Yes, the post-Trump era. Thank you, Lord.
I think the fact that he's using the fact that you're even talking about some not nonsense, but to even say something like that is just so, it's just disgraceful. What can you say?
Poor white ignorant America, since the Civil War, has had this chip on their shoulder, and they want to fight, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
They say they're just itching, huh?
Yeah.
They itching?
They're itching to fight.
They're itching for a fight.
You never heard that saying, Diane?
The government. Down with people telling us what to do.
Hey, Diane, you never heard that saying, itching for a fight? I wish a mother...
Okay. Yeah. See, in the white community, it's called you're itching for a fight. See, in the black community, it's called I wish a mother...
That's absolutely right. I wish a mother would. Anyway.
I wish a mother would come up in here talking about fight the white power.
Listen.
You're stupid. The Ohio governor said that COVID is coming for all of us.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It doesn't care if people voted for Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Those were his comments. He was telling people, you better, be mindful. The virus doesn't care who you voted for, because everybody is liable or possibly can get it, because everybody been everywhere. You talk to people all the time. You look at social media, they got pictures, they everywhere, they at parties. They
Listen,
at
there's some people who,
restaurants.
but we know, right, through the science that there's some people who have contracted COVID and they didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that little
What?
sniffle that you had, or those body aches that you had that you just kind of were able to brush off, your immune system was able to deal with it. But, you may have been walking around with COVID.
Yeah. Kevin Hart said that when he started doing testing for a couple of movies that he was doing, he found out that he and his wife had contracted it twice. And the only symptoms that they had was, loss of taste.
Yeah.
When did he contract it, and was that before or after the car accident with his personal trainer of hers?
It was after. That's how he found. Actually, that's how he found out.
I bet he did. So Anderson Cooper was on CNN yesterday. He thought that Trump looked like an obese turtle on his back, just fluttering. So I had one person who came on my Facebook feed. He's a Trump supporter. He said, "Childish, like a kid making fun. We're supposed to be adults here." And I said, "Now you telling me that wasn't funny? You didn't have a chuckle from that? I mean, even I laugh when they call him Sleepy Joe. Like, come on, we can't be so far fetched that we can't laugh at the funny stuff that they do say." So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, all I know is this morning when my wife and I were watching the news, and they posted the first results from Philadelphia that put Biden in the lead.
Right.
We started celebrating like it was Juneteenth. We free.
See, they did, but there lies the problem, Vincent. See, now you keep it. Don't do that, people. You just jumping from one plantation to the next. That's all you doing. You ain't free.
Maybe. You may be right. But let's look at this. I think this is starting to give America a sigh of relief, because a lot of us have been holding our breaths for over 4 years.
But again, you remember...
I'm not that optimistic to believe that once he leaves, things are going to turn around. Because usually when a president leaves out of office, the next president, he's probably the only president that has publicly said that he's going to undo everything that Obama did. But typically, they don't go backwards to undo stuff. They move forward. So a lot of stuff that's put in place never gets changed. And there's just more laws on top of other laws that never benefit black people.
True. But let's like a new presidency is like a new season in sports. You always have that hope and optimism that your team that you love so much will do well.
So my question is, once this election is over, and I'm just going to say it, we're going to declare Biden the president, are black people going to have this conversation with him about reparations? Or are they going to let that go?
What black people, Diane?
And say, "Oh no,
Diane, wait a minute." But see, we're starting this conversation saying, what black people? Who?
Well, Ice Cube. Or it's not allowed to talk.
No. So now, wait a minute. So remember, I said I didn't have an issue.
Right.
With Ice Cube going and having a conversation. My issue was the timing, right? And the fact that he was being used as a pawn. Now, I think that Ice Cube should, right? I think because the Biden campaign contacted him. He said both campaigns contacted him, right?
Correct.
So I think that he should now reach back out to them after the election, because according to Ice Cube, he said that they pushed him off and said, "We'll talk to you after the election." Okay. So now here we have it. And so I think he's got a chip in the game. Right? He's got a little integrity in that he's had a conversation with them. According to him, they said, talk to us after the election. So now he can do that. And I think that he should do it. And I think that he should be very, very transparent. And I believe at this juncture, he should take some highly qualified people who have been doing this work for decades with him. Right?
Right.
And start the conversation which can be and should be very direct. Right? He said that he is ADOS. My brother. So now go in, don't ask.
That's right.
Demand.
We want our $800,000 a household.
Demand.
So
Demand.
now my question to you is,
Mm-hmm.
what is the leverage of getting this? Because usually, and from people should know that are not on the inside, when you go to an elected official to demand something, a law, a policy, whatever, you have to be willing to give them something. And I'm not meaning financial bribe or something like that. But what is it that he should be leveraging?
Right. He has nothing to leverage. So this is what I was saying to you before, right? So the hope would be that he had something to leverage, but he's got nothing to leverage right now. I'm gonna take this call, and then we'll delve into this a little deeper. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, beautiful.
Hey, Jody.
Wait a minute, Jody.
Good morning, Jody.
Yes.
How do you like my background?
Say this again?
Background.
How do you like my background?
You know what? I love your background, right? And I love your facial expressions when Vincent says something crazy and off the mark, but that's okay, right? You know why? Because it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. I feel so good inside, right? I feel like the sun is shining here in the South, and even though we didn't do our due diligence here in North Carolina and be a part of the movement to save the world and all the black people that Vincent believes are now saved today, I still feel good. I took the day off of work. I'm feeling celebratory. I feel good today. And I just wanted to say that I feel wonderful today. That's it.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Because
She's giddy too. Listen. I'm happy that you listen. I am happy that the gorilla is off your back. Right?
No, you mean the orange orangutan?
No, he's a bear. He's a bear.
Yeah, he's an orange orangutan. But we're going to get you the bear. I'm putting it on your Christmas list.
Please, I ask anybody out there, buy me a Trumpy bear. And I want the one with the flag, the flag tape on his back. I want it. And the price is going up.
What do you want that, Diane?
The price is going up on eBay, so y'all better get it.
Why would you want that, Diane? He's gone. He's gone. He hasn't gone yet, right? You're going to probably have to drag his ass out. But, it's spirit, he's gone. Woo!
I collect stuff from all presidential elections. I have stuff from, oh my gosh, from when Jesse Jackson ran. I have his button. I mean, I got all the food.
Really? Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And
I don't think I would call this like a president or anything, right? I call him an imposter that just sat there for a few minutes. And we finally had to get rid of that imposter, and now he's gone. He's gone. I've got other expletives for him.
But my understanding, hey Jody, listen. Now, and I'm gonna say this, right? So because there are a couple things I want to say so people keep this in perspective. Donald Trump is no longer going to be president, but he by no means is gone. Donald.
No. According to the Trump corner, that he's going to run for 2024.
Right. Now, no. But I want you to understand it. But I want you to understand this.
Too good right now, and he wants to spoil that.
But I want you to understand this now. I mean, honestly, and we have to take this very seriously. Donald Trump is a major player in politics in this country. He is
Isn't that tragic?
he is a major influencer. And see, we can't, some of the most powerful people, because I asked Vincent yesterday, I said, Vincent, who are the people behind these people? And he didn't know.
Right.
See,
Right.
see, some of the most powerful people never held political office.
Say it again, Eric.
Absolutely.
We don't come on, guys. I always try to bring us back to focus. So Donald Trump right now, when you look at his and understand why Twitter and Facebook, why they're doing the things that they're doing now. See, because when this guy is out of office and he can sit there and tweet. See, the concern was, well, as President of the United States, he's gaslighting. As President of the United States, this is no, as Donald Trump, he's doing that. And as Donald Trump, he'll continue to do it. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Right.
And so there is a movement. There's a movement that is not going to stop because he's no longer president. Those folks want what they want. And I asked the question yesterday. About black people, because according to Vincent, he said he and his wife would dance around like it was Juneteenth. So I'm saying, okay, what'd you get? What'd you get?
Okay, that was funny. I heard that.
Right. So what'd you get? And so those people still want what they want. I contend that we fought somebody else's fight. We're not getting anything. Not getting anything. And those people on the other side are still going, they're going to fight vigorously. And I don't doubt that Donald Trump is going to run in 2024. I don't doubt it.
So you know, because honestly, I was really like, I'm gonna take a day off from all the high intense feelings and all of that, and just like, you know, get a day off. I literally took a day off my job today because that, you know, that was a lot for me. But I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm not even gonna say black folk, right? I'm gonna say younger folk. I'm gonna be hopeful that there is this new voting bloc of, and I'm gonna be frank, even though you may not agree with this as ADOS. I'm gonna be hopeful that there is a new, very strong voting bloc of young folks of all colors, from all places, who are very pragmatic about their issues, and they're not on the white end of the spectrum. They are not trying to take us back to, you know, since the 1900s. They want to see justice for a country that is just fair, and I'm hoping that all of those black folk that lined up in the streets to protest don't walk back into their homes, close their doors, and wait for 4 more years, but that they become very active in the process and hold this new administration accountable and forced to see them push it through. Do I want to see that through Ice Cube? No, I do not. Do I want to see that through, I don't know, any other entertainer that wants to jump up and act like they understand my plight, living in $1 million houses and their children going to the best of schools? No, I do not. I want to see a breath of a new political structure of people who are 100% dedicated to that. I hope that that's what this moment brings. But for today, I just want to look at memes of Donald Trump with wigs on and laugh at him and just keep laughing at him, because I do recognize that it hasn't even gotten started, and there's a group of people who I have to now start going to the gun range and getting ready for, because they might try and come up in my house. That's where I think we are.
Yeah.
One thing that
we should get into consideration, and part of the thing of what you talked about yesterday, the people who work in the shadows, the oligarchs, the people who have all that money, and those people who have the true power. The thing that I found out about people who have true power is that when one is gone, they find another useful idiot. And now, with this landscape has changed, with the Black Lives Matter movement, the new registration of young black voters, and the large turnout for black men to vote, what these people have to do now is find someone else that they can back to do their bidding. And it's going to be difficult right now. It is truly, now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people who are going to take in on that or bite the apple of the forbidden fruit and want to be the influencer or the leader of these new groups now to lead them astray. But I'm hopeful that right now, this awakening of America, because before we were in such a lulled sense of security of what really America is, and they're now seeing the true side of what a black America can be. And this isn't the be-all, end-all. So this is just the...
Wait. Who's seeing the true side of what black America could be? Who's seeing that? Because all that black America showed that they could be is that when Fish Fry Clyburn says jump, they said how high. That's it. That's
okay.
it.
Well,
That's it.
No, because you're looking at right now in this presidential race. What is getting Biden over are the cities and states.
I know, I understand that.
They're counting on this huge black
I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is this, but what they know is that this black vote didn't demand anything in return. They know that.
We did demand it in return. That's how we got Kamala Harris. We did demand it in return. That's why in this plan he had to lift every voice. We did demand.
So what did,
and he listened.
So what is Kamala bringing to the table that's going to benefit black people? Because she has said many times out her mouth, she is specific doing anything for black people. Jody, mute your phone. So what is it that she's bringing? Because you have to be honest. When you look at these numbers across the country, point, and you can't change that. So after even though we're going to have Biden, there are going to still be millions of people who don't agree with him. They will not be people that are going to jump on board to support anything black or for us.
Okay,
and then you got to also acknowledge this.
Let me answer it in how you actually.
But I want you to do that, Vincent. But acknowledge this too, please. That there are a large number of people who weren't voting for Biden. They were just voting against Trump. See, you're giving this impression that all these people came out to support Biden. They came out to denounce Trump.
Okay, now let's look at, first let me address Diane's issue. What does Kamala Harris bring? Well, to be honest with you, Kamala Harris brings a sense of, one, there may be one person who can say something and speak up about the black agenda. And before we let me answer the question, please.
I'm going to be honest. Sentence said, I'm going to be honest. She said she's doing nothing specifically for black people, and then you said, well, she'll be a voice. That's not being honest, Vincent.
Well, she said that she's doing nothing specific for black people. And in their actual plan and policy, it is specific for black people. Lift Every Voice is specific for black people. So let me also finish another point that you brought up. Okay? And Eric said that they're voting against Trump, and that may be true. But they're also, in voting against Trump, they're voting for change of this present condition. Whether it be COVID, whether it be economic, whether it be racial injustice, they are voting for change. Now,
you're not dialed in, and you're not being honest. You can't say what you
how can I not be honest when I'm being honest? Or am I not giving the honest answer that you want to hear?
No, you're not giving honesty because you can't even pull any context to back what you just said. The woman said out of her mouth, I am doing nothing specifically for black people. Oh, yeah, I could do some stuff that's going to benefit everybody. Yeah, to benefit black people. but not
Okay.
for them. They,
Again,
Mhm.
again, she said she's doing nothing specific for black people. In the debate, she acted like she could not stand Biden, and then after that, called him a racist, a rapist.
exactly.
So that changes that narrative changes with whoever she's aligned with. Now,
Oh, so she's a liar.
And do anything. Yes, people say and do anything to get a job. The problem is once they get a job and what they do. We saw a federal judge appointed by Trump, okay, who Trump swore was in his favor, rule against him. So it does not matter. So I'm not going to take into account a lot of things that happen because there are three of the greatest lies ever told. There is the lie told during an engagement. There is the lie told after the fishing party, and then there is the lie told during a presidential election. Now that they are elected, let's get to the truth.
What's the lie told after the fishing party?
You know what? The one that got away was this big. If the fish got off the hook, it was this big.
Okay, got it. Well, listen.
Oh, you know what, Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Our beautiful Vincent is very, as you put it yesterday, naive. Boy, he's one of those people that, like, things come by in the middle of the street and he believes this is the coming together of the country. Listen, I hope he's right. I doubt that he's right.
Yeah.
And I wish that, honestly, all I could hope for Vincent, instead of being disappointed like you and I talked about before, how, Corey came in and he was this dude and he was bright and he was smart and he was politically savvy and and then you get your heart broken to know that he's just a regular old politician, actually kind of worse, right? So I'm hoping that Kamala Harris does the right thing, period, right? We don't even have to, just does the right thing by her people and by the people who supported her begrudgingly, right? Right. That's all you can hope for, but Vincent, you have to be very realistic that's very highly unrealistic. One of the most strongest things that we have is the least thing that we use is the power of love. Because love brings hope. And the worst thing about it is that, and the reason that it's so strong and so powerful is because even though you love, in the back of your mind, a lot of times the things that you love is going to break your heart. But you still have to continue on with that. With this country, we have to continue on hope. And we have to continue on looking and building to a better and brighter. If we continue to talk the doom and gloom, we may wrap ourselves up into some self-fulfilled prophecy of our own demise.
I want action.
Yeah, well, that was a lot, right, Diane? Sure.
ACT. Action. I want action.
I want action, too. I want action, too.
I buried hope when Obama left. It's time to move on.
Oh.
No more hope. I don't need no hope.
Well, now that we have hope, the next step is to put it into action. Let us now, start putting our plan together in terms of making it better for ourselves and our families. Let's start, continuing our messaging of what needs to be done. Let us start going down our list of agendas and putting that into action. Now that our hope has blossomed into a possible candidate who has said that we're hoping will do things that are right for us, let us now put it into action and make it happen.
So I think that's what we touched on yesterday, holding people to the foot to the fire. How will we do that? What will we do? We can't keep doing what we've been doing, and we can't fall asleep now that the election is over, almost over, because we'll get back into this deep sleep again. What should people be doing?
Okay, now, as I said yesterday, and I was considered naive, yet a lot of people who understand politics understand the simple fact that there is always in the back of their mind a re-election. Now, we have politicians like Cory Booker who have done nothing and consistently get re-elected. We have politicians who have been in Congress for decades and have done nothing. now in that new awakening that we have, and people are now being more politically savvy and voicing their opinions and their wants. Let us now look at that as one, not all, but one of the tools in which we can now enact change.
What should they do?
Well, you know what? There is the narrative of what they should do is endless. Just like the narrative of people negotiating with Biden in terms of the black agenda. Just like people who negotiated with Trump in terms of the black agenda. The narrative is bold. Now, if we, and this is a slippery slope for me, because making any suggestion on the black agenda is incredibly obtuse. Because the black agenda for me may not be the black agenda for you. But if we can find some common ground on steps to take to make things better, because there are people right now, as we talked yesterday, there are people right now, even in the COVID-19 environment, that are thriving and not surviving. So let's get that group that is surviving and get them to the acknowledgement of thriving. Let's now get that group that is excelling and get them to into the mode of helping. Let's get those who are legislators to now hear our words. The one thing that was placed in the politician's face is the simple fact that they need our votes to be in office. And if you need our votes, you're going to do now our will and our bidding, rather than that of your oligarchs.
Okay, so now you don't...
So you know what? He
Well-
didn't give you any answers, Diane, right?
Well, but you know what though? That
Tangibles, right? So this is what I would like to see, right? So if as a woman I voted for Kamala Harris, I would like to see the rate of pay for women equal out. That should be on her agenda. That is what she talked about on a regular basis, right? That should happen. That should be something that is on the first 100 agenda on that agenda. I would like to see Joe Biden come through when he talked about the failure of education in black neighborhoods and urban areas. I want to see a new plan to educate our Tennessee, money put into the education system in urban areas. I want that pupil per capita to not get lost in City Hall, and that, like in Newark City Hall, still hasn't given in the last 10, 15 years, still hasn't given their amount to education that they were supposed to be given to Newark. I want to see those things happen. I want to see education on the forefront in Black America. I want to see the wage gap changed. I think with Vincent does that, right? Vincent is such a freaking politician. He just, we want to see the change, but you never say what that change should be. We should be coming up with the I agree with your change, and it was every part of it. But I wasn't going to. What I was not going to do is run down the list that, in terms of talking to Diane, opens up a wormhole or a rabbit hole that I will fall deeply into on my head.
Well, in all honesty, neither one of you answered the question. The question is, how will you hold their feet to the fire? We already know what they said they're going to do. How will you and how should other people make sure that they do what they said? That was the question.
Remind them of the most important power card that we have, the vote. Remind them of the simple fact that...
Son, Vincent, what are you going to do? If you go to the barbershop and you say, I want a haircut, are you going to talk about it, or are you going to tell them what to do? Are you going to go right in there and say, I want a haircut this way, this is the picture? Are you going to pick up the phone and call the legislator? Are you going to start an email campaign?
I see what you're saying, Diane. Okay, Diane, this is it. And I'm glad you used the barbershop analysis. When I go to the barbershop, I tell him what I want to do. Now, I cannot control his hand. All I can do is tell him my expectations. If he does not meet that expectations, then I find another barber. Now, no, let me finish. The same thing with our candidate-elect. We tell him what we want him to do. If he does not meet that expectation, we find another candidate that will.
So he's already in the position, so there's no need to talk about the vote or being a candidate because he's there right now. I'm saying, are you picking up the phone? Are you going down to Trenton? Will you start turning out for meetings? Will you start watching the state meetings on TV? How will you participate in making sure they do what they said they was going to do? Because everything.
Well, you know what, Diane is right. Well, let's look at it and you're talking about in terms of me. No, I do those things, and I still keep in contact with a lot of political insiders in terms of what moves they're making. Now,
what do people do? What they have done in the past has not worked. We are not talking about what you do, Vincent. I don't care about you eating eggs in the morning.
You said what I wanted. You said what do I do? I'm just
what should be done. Because if you're on here and you're just talking about what you do, you aren't giving action to other people to help them learn what they need to be doing. Because what
good point. Great point. And Diane, I think you being an elected official with more than hold on, let me finish. And knowing what holds an elected official feet to the fire, I think you would probably be better at answering that. What should people do to hold their feet to the fire?
So you have no answer after all of this?
No. What I'm saying is this. In terms of talking with you in this particular topic, I will never have a right answer.
Well, I can acknowledge that because I'm excited about you even saying it, right? So I haven't been in my new state. I haven't been engaged like I was in education, going to every advisory board meeting, showing up and being there and being relevant and being a voice for the people, right? I will assuredly, because that is very important to me, and I do think it is the epicenter of how we can change our circumstances as a community. I will be more engaged this year. I do want to see education change in this country. So I will be there. I will make sure my voice is heard. I will, because as you were talking, I was like, damn, she's right? Like, what will I do other than laugh at the big orange dude, right? So, yeah, I will start. I am known for writing, so I will start writing letters to my local constituents, but I will write letters. I definitely want to see something change for the way in which women are paid. I will enact on that. And moreover, I will talk to people and my circle of people to join me in that action. You are right. We all have to do something other than vote. And we can't come into office. We can't expect, or Vincent said, let's threaten them by the vote. 4 years is a long time away, but so much can be done if we all join in. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Those are the things I'm going to do.
One of the other things that we can do, and learning from the lesson of Obama's first term, is now start looking at and supporting those candidates who are carrying our agenda for the midterm Senate race, so that we can now get those things passed. One person in office will not exact the change that we need. We're going to need more allies in this fight. So, yes, get involved, listen, read, talk to them, go to these meetings. We're talking about now keeping the momentum of change alive and not doing what we did before, being lulled into a false sense of security and just basically taking whatever they give us. Now,
but
yes,
Diane, but Diane, for the next 10 days though, for at least the next 10 days, I'm just
partying,
sharing some orange dude memes. I am on that.
I want to see them drag his little orange behind out of the White House.
But you know, and look, and I think that's great. So drag him out, and I'm like, and then what?
Drag him out, and then what? We begin rebuilding.
Okay.
We begin rebuilding
within our communities, or
building in our communities, and we start rebuilding our nation.
Okay.
Those are words. I'm not going to take that crap from you.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, you want to know what we need to rebuild? Okay. Let's look at what we need to rebuild. First and foremost, we need to change the minimum wage because it hasn't. Second and foremost, we need to give people a lot of. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Change to what? What is feasible? You can't throw stuff out there, Vincent, and not have done some research to say, this is why it's feasible. This is why we need to change it, because there are people listening that think $15 an hour is a lot because they may be listening in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
So you have to.
On a national scale, in terms of the research that I did about changing the minimum wage, because once again, every word I said slips me further down that Diane rabbit hole. Changing the minimum wage on a national average has been they now pay above the minimum wage to an average of $15 to $17 an hour. Even right now, nationally, Amazon, American Express, UPS are all advertising and posting $15+ an hour. That should now go to the new minimum.
So.
And $15 an hour, right? And I hope you understand this, right? That $15 an hour actually translates to $30,000 a year. Take out for insurance, for medical insurance, and take out for taxes, and you're down to about $25,000 a year, and that ain't minimal for nobody. No one can live off of that in this country. Now, maybe,
Well,
I don't know, in
explain to me how
a
people are living off of our present minimum wage.
They're not.
All right. They're not.
Okay, so now increasing that gives them some level of relief. Now we cannot sit up here and put
Jody. $15 an hour. Wait, Vincent. Do you know that people that get $15,000 an hour are still eligible, and most of them do still get food stamps? They are still supplemented because you can't live in this country off of $15 an hour. That's just the impossibility. They are still considered in poverty. And
Jody. Even though you are correct, and that $15 an hour still makes them eligible for food stamps, but you also have to look at food stamps or the food subsidies is funded by your tax dollars to keep farmers in business. Well, no, please let me finish, Jody, let me finish. But also you have an opportunity to continue. So we're talking. So the pragmatist version is to keep something where people are getting a little bit more, yet it doesn't cripple a whole lot of other people.
That's the misconception of people who are not entrepreneurs and don't really understand this. $15 an hour for you to pay somebody is not shutting down my business. It's not.
Absolutely.
No, it's not. But you know what it does do? If I had to pay $15 an hour, now I raise my prices to compensate the actual money that I had to pay.
It doesn't always do that either. But okay, Vincent, I'll let you, because you just took yourself into a rabbit hole. So when I was asking you, what do you do when you brought up minimum wage, I'm saying you should stop talking as if you're in a cone saying that, oh, $15 minimum wage is great, because nationally it is not great anywhere. You can barely you can't live barely in New Jersey on $15 an hour without having a second job. You can't.
First and foremost, and the things that I said, I never said $15 an hour was great. What I said that nationally it's the average and what people are paying above the minimum wage.
So
there is a precedent and standard of getting $15 an hour.
So is $15 an hour something that you want to increase? What are you going to do to make it happen?
Well, what I'm going to do to make it happen? Well, to be honest with you, I can't do a freaking thing to make it happen because I'm not in office. But what we can do to make it happen is now put that part of the agenda in terms of us rebuilding.
How are we rebuilding? Because you got all these key words, but you don't have any substance behind it. And I'm trying to pull it out of you, but it's not coming.
Well, I said rebuilding starts with the family. Okay, if you want to start with the family, minimum wage, fair wages. Let's look at fair and let's look at removing some of the executive orders to reduce fair housing and projects. Let's look at not overfunding, because we got school districts that are doing hundreds and billions of dollars in terms of the school budget, yet the performance issue of that absolutely sucks. Let's look at
Listen, I'm living in Camden. I got a couple of kids. I'm married. I'm trying to figure out how to make this better. What do you tell an individual to do to hold the legislative accountable? Their foot to the fire. That's how we started this. What do they do?
Well, what they do is now.
What do they do?
Well, what they do is, I guess the easiest way or the best way to explain it is you stay in their face. You stay relevant to them.
How do you do that?
Well, you go to the meetings. You write the letters. You watch them on TV. You follow all of their trends. You make it known that, no, I'm here and I'm watching you.
Finally, thank you, Jesus. I didn't think it would ever come out your mouth. I knew you had it. It just wasn't.
Oh my God! I said something she likes. Praise the Lord! Hallelujah!
But
All right,
you at least just gave a description or a definitive answer, because telling people to say we got to stay engaged, we got to do this, is not telling people what to do. People need basics, simple.
Okay.
All right.
Have conversations with people. Watch various different stations of news. Those are things to do. So this way, when you have conversations with people and you realize that these people are responsible for changing your life or changing the bottom line in your pocket, then you know what the steps to do. You know that it's not too hard to reach out to a congressperson or senator, and you should be doing that on a regular. You should be calling them so much that when their staff hears your voice, they know exactly who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And they sending you Christmas cards.
Exactly. Well, I don't need a damn Christmas card because that's my but that's how you stay constant to get things done. So when we go back and I asked you about reparations, and now we're going to start asking for reparations. Who gives a crap who's talking about it, or if it's Ice Cube or it's Kumo D? I don't care, but the conversation needs to be in the forefront. The same way we did it in the presidential debates, we have to keep talking about it on social media and everywhere else to push it in front of them so they cannot ignore it. You have to make it so prevalent that it's all over the place and they can't say they didn't know. They can only say that they ignored it, but they can't say they didn't know about it. That's what people have to do. And that's why after this election, I would hope that people will understand, just because of an election, this presidential election, it does not stop the work of anybody. Because these people are in office, they are ready to push their agendas because they owe people favors that help.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
In these places, on these platforms, there are people who have wrote millions and millions and millions of dollars of checks to get what they want done.
Right. So let's make sure that those favors that they owe and that we're on the agenda as the favors that they owe.
And the other thing is with that, you need to go back through the list and see who gave them money, because you need to know who's pulling their strings, because maybe those are the people and the companies you need to push.
That's absolutely right. That is the work. Now that is the work. But this pie in the sky belief that after the election, you know, these politicians who have been bought, who have been purchased, are going to.
Well, the election is one thing, but their hard work is the job. Well, it's like when we talk to Deidre Viney. No, getting the interview is one thing. The other thing is now keeping the job.
No. But understand this. Even the interview, you believe that they were interviewing with you this whole time. No, they had the interview with the people who ultimately gave them the hundreds of millions of dollars. That's right. They had that interview.
Yes.
Right? And then they were accepted, and then the money came flowing in. Anyway, moving on.
And the same thing with us. They interview with us. We accept it.
They didn't really. They didn't interview with us. They messaged to us. They didn't interview with us.
So to make it simple for people to really understand, when candidates decide that they want to run for office, there are various different ways they can do it. They can do it on their own and raise their own money, and whoever they raise money from, even if it's the little church lady that gives them $5, that little church lady is going to be asking for something in return. She wants that handicap permit in front of her house.
That's right.
She wants something for that $5. So everybody needs to understand that you will be giving back something at some point.
All right. So
instead of the chicken dinners the week before the election.
All right. Can I change the subject? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because we got 10 minutes to go or something like that. What? I'm going way left on this. Why can you only get eggnog during this time of the year?
The same reason that turkey sales increase this time of the year. It's seasonal.
But I'm saying,
And
why is it
it's part of
seasonal? Do you like eggnog?
love it,
Diane, do you
especially
like
with corn
eggnog?
liquor.
Corn liquor?
Yeah.
Diane, do you like eggnog? Did she leave us? Maybe she doesn't like eggnog. But I love eggnog. And like you have a small window to be able to purchase it. And like I almost want to go and like hoard it and like stock it in my downstairs refrigerator. Right?
Hmm.
And you know, like literally, you know, I was asking the question when I was in the store. I'm like, why do you guys? People love it. It's you know, they run out of it. I said, so it'll sell. Same thing with fruitcake. Do you like fruitcake? Only this time of year.
No.
Really?
Don't like the fruitcake.
Either you love fruitcake or you hate it. Right?
Yeah.
People either love it or hate it. I love it.
Yeah. No, I used to love fruitcake, but then to the point where, you know, you get the, see, majority of my family is
Not store-bought fruitcake, homemade fruitcake.
Okay, homemade fruitcake I could do.
Yes, yes.
This store-bought stuff?
No. The store-bought stuff, because it's got like it's processed, right? But the homemade fruitcake, I had a friend who used to make it, Vincent, and it was like it's like a 7-month process.
Yeah, because it takes a lot to soak all that alcohol in a cake.
Dude, you one slice of that cake. It was like taking a shot and a half of liquor.
You can fill a breathalyzer for 2 slices.
Yo, come on, man. If you were driving with his fruitcake after you cut it, it was like driving with an open container. Yeah. But nah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to lighten the mood up a little bit. You know, I'm kind of with Jody in that I think that for whatever reason, many people in the country now are breathing, right, a sigh of relief for whatever reason. And so let's enjoy it, right? It's Friday. It's a beautiful fall day. You know, be giddy. You know, but get to work, right? It's kind of like you know, like when I played football. You know, after we scored a touchdown, the coach would say to us, "What? You know, don't celebrate. You still got time on the clock." You see, so we still got time on the clock, guys. So let us not get distracted in the celebration, right? Let us focus on the work.
But don't let our foot off the gas.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And definitely in Philadelphia, especially, a big thanks to the Black Lives Matter movement, because they really organized. They've got out there. They really petitioned, and they did a lot of the groundwork. And I mean, to the point where now they're just saying that Biden is now getting 86% of the vote in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and the surrounding suburbs. So, you know, it can be done. We just have to be willing to do the work. And now that we got to this plateau, we should not let our foot off the gas.
So what do you think is in store? The last 7 minutes in store for the progressive wing of the party. There's conversation about infighting Nancy Pelosi, whether she's gonna
Nancy Pelosi is going to be Nancy Pelosi. And you say what you want about her, but she does have a strong interest as a public service. And she is very powerful to make things done, get things done. She is going to be a constant ally for the Democratic Party in the Senate. The whole question right now, in which I believe Biden had gotten it done once he became the candidate-elect and getting all of the Democrats and the factions of Democrats in line, is the merger or the pragmatism of concepts and ideas. So first, before you can unite the entire world, you have to unite your party. The Democratic Party has to be one united front, which is the only way he's going to survive the midterms and getting more senators to get his agenda done. So that means that some of the progressive movements and some of the conservative Democrat issues, like we talked about, housing, minimum wage, school agenda, climate change, reducing some standards and giving some grants to make it easier for renewable subsidies, fracking on large corporations, and of course the true tax reform is huge. Because the small America who is fighting, one of the biggest things that you're fighting for is that, if you're making under $400,000 a year, you're paying more in taxes than, the one making above $400,000 a year. So, getting and that increases money to continue on with other programs, defunding and re-educating, and additional training for the police. Not to mention changing a lot of judges. So that the equality of justice for all is true for all people. So and of course college tuition and college and free colleges, because our tax dollars pay for a lot in terms of subsidies to these institutions who also charge us a lot of money to send our kids. So yeah, we have work to do. Celebrating the election is one thing, but after the celebration, roll up your sleeves. Do not let your foot off the gas. And as Diane pulled out of me, stay in their face.
All right. So listen, I'm gonna check the end. I guess by the end of the day, right, we'll have a president-elect and a vice president-elect, first black woman.
It's estimated by 3 o'clock today, they will find out that that Biden had reached a point of no return for sealing up Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is over. It's over for Trump.
Yeah. So
now, what we're looking at is the additional votes being able to put it out of a reproach. If it's close, he can challenge it and call for recount, which is another week. If it's not close, if it's beyond that threshold, he doesn't have a dog in the fight. Okay, so we are now approaching 3 more minutes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'd like to say thank you, Eric, for being a co-host on my show yesterday.
Oh, you know what, Vincent? We unfortunately we can't send folks to a link to watch it. I don't believe. Maybe there's a segment of it we can send them. I think some of it got recorded. But
Yeah.
it was a delightful experience, man. I'm looking forward to to doing that. It's the show is go ahead. What you got to say, right? And it is focused primarily on you, the listener, the viewer, what your opinion is, because we do want to hear what it is that you have to say about an array of topics. And yesterday we were talking about surviving, right? Or as Dr. Wright said, thriving, right? In the post-Trump era. Not surviving, but thriving.
And I like the wise men. It was refreshing to hear a white Jewish rabbi talking about, what? I'm from Africa.
Yeah. Did he drop that like it was science or what? It was like a walk-off jump shot, man. He's like, and I'm not talking about like decades ago.
I'm talking a few years.
Hey, So, but yeah, the hope is that we'll have some exciting guests, some exciting topics. Maybe we can get from the viewing audience, the listening audience, topics that you might want to hear about, guests that you might want to see and hear from, including politicians. Some of those, though, might be difficult to get on because, of the kind of platforms they want, and, and the fact that they want to just kind of spew propaganda, right? And our job is to kind of hold them steady and hold them to truth. So, but getting them would require not a lot, right? It would just require that you demand it.
Yes.
Right? And if you demand it, they'll come. So, but yeah, I had a great time on the show, Vincent. I'm looking forward to the next episode. It's 12 o'clock. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going out to rake some leaves.
I'm going fishing.
You're going fishing? Well, enjoy. Thank you guys. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Keep safe distance. And as Vincent says,
Weekend, guys.
and if it's God's will, we'll see you guys back here on Monday.
Jody.
Have a great day, Jody.